everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Monday Mensaje or Monday Message, our weekly energy forecast. Thank you if this is your first time joining me or if you have come back to see what's up for this week. I'm excited that you're here and let's get right down to it. Okay, so again, I'm using the Dolly Tarot, so head to my Instagram if you want to see the unique imagery for each card. It's like very different than the traditional Rider-Waite deck. So this week, the card that encapsulates the energy for this week ahead is the Two of Wands. So a bunch of things came up here, but honestly, pretty straightforward message, especially after like the last few weeks I think have been pretty intense messages with like some heavy energy. This feels a lot lighter to me, which I'm grateful for because I don't know about you, but last week was a lot. It's been a lot. So I know that it can't just be me going through stuff right now, but I know it's all for our personal growth. And you know what, at this point on my spiritual journey, I just trust that whatever I'm going through is going to teach me something that's going to provide, some sort of like growth and value in my life. And oftentimes we can't see it until we are through it. When you're in the middle of it, it's hard to sometimes be able to know why you're going through something, but then once you're out of it, you have that insight. So, okay, right. So the Two of Wands, bottom of the deck, we got the Two of Pentacles. So the first thing that came up for me with both of these twos is balance, right? So what are you balancing right now? Are you balancing these things successfully? Maybe not so successfully. This might be a week where you need to find balance within you. So after this message, I actually am going to pull some cards that are going to let us know how each sign can find inner balance this week. Just a heads up on that. And so, if you're finding that it's been a little bit difficult to balance some major things going on in your life, the first thing I suggest for you to do is to slow down. Sometimes we get like really wrapped up in these phases of feeling like you're just like in go, go, go mode, right? Because you have so much going on. But that is oftentimes the sign that you need to do the opposite and like slow down. Take a moment, center yourself, reset, and say, how can I break up these really large things in my life into smaller, more manageable pieces? So that could be a way that you find more balance this week, like breaking up bigger tasks into smaller steps. That way things seem a little bit less overwhelming. And also learning when to, say no to things, when to put yourself first. And there are things that definitely can wait. So don't feel like you have to be someone who's pressuring yourself to get everything done, decided, figured out in a certain amount of time. There is time. Prioritize, that's like the next big thing that came up for me is like prioritizing. If you have a lot going on that you're juggling, figure out what needs tending to the most, what's the most pressing issue, and then deal with those things first, like I said, by breaking them down into smaller pieces, and then move on to the things that can wait. But if you have everything just like swimming in your head, it can be kind of hard to do that. So maybe make a list. If you're like me, that's like with pen and paper, I still love that. And then, but like my partner loves to do like lists on his phone. He's very like into the technological way of keeping track of things. So whatever calls to you, but just make sure that you're getting things organized. Because if you don't, it might be easy to get a little bit swallowed up in the forward momentum that this week is going to be bringing us. So next thing that came up is this idea of, I literally heard the phrase, do you dare to explore the possibilities? The character in this Two of Wands card specifically sort of has this like mysterious, but maybe, hold on, what's the word I'm looking for? She has this like look about her. Like I said, this card is absolutely different from the Rider-Waite deck. it's a woman and she's standing in between the two wands. The two wands are also sort of forming like a doorway, a portal, if you will, and she's like about to step through. And behind her, you see this like beautiful scene of maybe what looks like a city and some trees, and it's like a beautiful, beautiful like seascape. And she has this look like she's like excited about what the next chapter is. And that made me think like, okay, maybe this week is about us finding this balance, but also like stepping into a new chapter. Are you going to follow your passions? I see like we're going to be moving more from the mundane into more mystical energy this week, right? So maybe you've been focusing a lot on like I said, the mundane things going on in your life, just like making sure you're taking care of yourself, work and family, and getting all that done. And maybe now this week, the energy's picking up a little bit and you're like, oh, okay, some of these things that I'm passionate about are popping up. And so maybe you're going to find you have an opportunity to pursue something that you're passionate about this week and have a little bit of fun. And that's sort of the vibe I'm getting from her. This look she's giving, like I said, it's mysterious, but it's also sort of enticing. Like she's like, hey, come follow me, you know? And it's this energy of like, oh, I want to go where she's going, like follow the white rabbit, you know? That is exactly the energy of it, actually, like following the white rabbit. So maybe some sort of like Alice vibes this week. Like I said, moving from the mundane to a little bit more mystical. Maybe you're going to have some opportunities to have fun this week. That's also the vibe I'm getting. I love that. If you're traveling this week, because that's also what I picked up from this card, that could be super exciting, adventurous. Maybe there's some like unexpected things that are going to pop up. Maybe be a little spontaneous this week, right? So like I said in the beginning, if you get your priorities in order and you kind of have your list of like, okay, these are the things I have to really take care of, the rest can wait, that might free up your schedule a little bit to do something fun, be a little bit adventurous, do something a little bit exciting, follow your passion, right? And see where that leads you. That's really like the main vibe I'm getting is following your passion, following your heart, seeing where that leads you. What sort of new beginnings are we going to get in this next chapter? Maybe you've been feeling like the energy is like lifting a little bit from that really intense, dense energy, and it's starting to lighten up. So the other thing that I saw when looking at this, there's sort of like, I feel like Dolly like puts a lot of these very specific like birds in these cards in certain places where they're not normally. And this one to me, there's like a large bird next to her, but it's not on the side of the portal that she's going to walk through. It's sort of like behind her. In whatever realm she's moving from, that's where this bird is. And that made me think of like, what are we still shedding, right? So we can step into this new chapter. So maybe you're still shedding some old ideas, some old beliefs, maybe about what you believe your life could be. Maybe this is like still shedding some opinions that you fear that maybe other people have, right? Like what will people think about these new beginnings, this new chapter I'm stepping into? And also just signify to me, it does have a little bit of that phoenix energy with the like bright orange colors that he chose here. And it made me think of like this continued rebirth. So many of us are going through such a deep transformational period right now. And when I see her walking into this new chapter, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm continuing to leave past versions of me, past things in my life that no longer serve me. And I am having the courage, I am following my passions into this new chapter. And it's exciting and it's fun and everything doesn't have to be so serious all the time. And that was really like, luckily, honestly, the energy that I got from this. This is like a really great, I guess like upswing from our last few forecasts. Things have been pretty dense, so I was really happy to see these kind of messages. Let me see what else here. Right, so in a way, while I see her walking into this like new chapter, this portal, I also got the idea of maybe this is like not something she's really stepping into quite yet. It's like she's dreaming up something. And so what that made me think of is like, get clear on what it is that you want in this next chapter for yourself. Get clear on how you want to feel, who you think you want to become, and then act, right? So you don't have to, like I said, dive into this forward momentum energy and sort of like burn yourself out by just diving head first and like hitting a brick wall. You want to make sure that you're like daydreaming up like some possibilities for yourself before you go all in. And what that is going to require is enthusiasm. These are the two words that came up for me, enthusiasm and strength. The enthusiasm to say, you know what, I am passionate about these things that I want to pursue, whether that's a project, career, a new like romantic thing. There are so many new possibilities that are coming up. It could be in any area of your life, but it's going to take that enthusiasm, which sort of says to me, like, continue to follow those passionate feelings within you. Don't ignore them. They're there for a reason. You're not just really passionate about certain things in your life just by chance. If you are thinking that, I'm here to tell you, like, I really don't agree. I really think that we are passionate about certain things because it's our intuition leading us to the right place, leading us to the next chapter. And sometimes things don't make sense on paper, but they make sense within you. They make sense like with the way that it feels, right? On paper, it may seem like, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm thinking about doing this. But when you close your eyes and you listen to your heart and you listen to your passion, it feels right. And you know what? Sometimes we have to act with those feelings and we worry about what it looks like on paper later. Make sure, of course, that you're not doing anything that's completely irrational and gonna like impact your life in a completely negative way, but don't be afraid to take a risk. You know, this is the time astrologically to be taking a little bit of a risk. It's a safe time to kind of throw things out there and just see what comes of it, right? A very like experimentative period. So be comfortable with that. And the strength is, like I said, going to come into play where you're sort of like not letting your mind fully take the lead. I feel like a lot of times in matters of the heart and passionate projects or things that we're really like interested in our lives, sometimes your mind can play a little bit of a trick on you. Your mind can be the one that does bring up the, what are people going to think? And how are you really going to get there? And is this like a really feasible option? Are you being completely, impulsive? So you're going to have that inner strength to discern, where are these passions coming from? Where might they lead? What risks am I willing to take? What do I feel like is worth it? Because that's really what it comes down to. Is the risk that you're taking worth it? Is it going to be a heavier burden to carry that risk you never took with you for the rest of your life? Or is it going to be more worth it to just go for it and see what happens? You can always pivot. You can always reassess when you're in it, but you're never going to know anything until you take the leap, right? And that's sort of like the vibe she's giving me as she's like, this character, as she's like walking through what I told you looks like this doorway created by the wands. It's sort of like, are we doing it? And you know what? If you're me, then yes, you are doing it. I feel like in the lessons I've been learning over the last few years, it's been this thing of, you know what, it's worth the risk. I rather risk it and figure out what's going on than wonder the what if forever. And that's really what it boils down to for me. You may not be the same, but if there's someone out there that needed some sort of a nudge or a push to, follow your passions, I hope that this provides a little bit of comfort for you. You're not the only one out there struggling with this, and I would rather know the outcome than speculate about it because I never actually did it. And really that's the vibe I got. And two, with this like 2 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck too, not only did I think about balancing, but I also, whenever I see that card, I always think about like decision making. So this could be a week where, like I said, with the combination of these 2 cards, it's like making decisions around what's worth it, what's not worth it, what are you going to follow. So just really take some time to center yourself, because that's where this whole strength part that I was calling into it really comes into play. Have the strength to be honest with yourself about what you really want, what you want to explore. Follow the things that you're enthusiastic about. I promise that is not for like no reason, okay? I don't really believe in coincidences. So if you're asking me specifically, I feel like you're passionate about certain things because there's something behind that door. And yeah, so I mean, really that's it. It's a pretty straightforward message this week. I hope that this week is so much lighter and brighter, and a lot of this decision making, you know what I mean? Like nothing is set in stone. So it's like you may decide to go a certain place, and then like I said, you can always continuously pivot, always. So don't feel like once you've made a decision, you're like backed into a corner. You also have to see like it's like the ripple effect. So it's like you make a decision, you got to see what comes from that, and then you go from there. You don't have to plan 20 steps down the road. And I'm specifically saying that for those of you like myself that are really learning to surrender and let go of needing to control all of the outcomes around you, because I'm reminding you that you can't control them. You can only control what you do and how you react to things. Other than that, everything else is out of your control. So sort of like let go of that anxiety of, oh, if I do this, then XYZ might happen. You know what? You don't know till it happens. You don't know what X is until it happens. So until you do, then you can make an informed decision, but don't sit around like driving yourself crazy speculating. Okay? Maybe that was for someone specific out there. I don't know. I hope that helped you. Okay, so let's get into the next part of this. I have my Heal Your Damn Self Oracle out. I will link it below. It's a really great deck because it tells you different ways that you can heal yourself. So I thought it would be like a wonderful deck to use when asking how can we find balance this week. So I already have everything shuffled and ready to go. I haven't looked at the cards yet. I'm very excited. And yeah, so that's our theme of these cards this week. Your messages are, how can you find inner balance? That way we're like well equipped with what we need to be going through all this and like doing all this. You know what I mean? Okay. So first up, Pisces. So you can find balance this week, Pisces, inner balance by leaning into your healthy habits. That's the card that you got. So Pisces, what healthy habits can you nurture, cultivate in your life? Maybe think about some of the habits in your life that aren't so healthy, and then how you can sort of shift and start to replace those things with things that would make your day-to-day life better. How can you help yourself more? So it's all about having that honesty with the self and the clarity to say, you know what, maybe like this and this thing that I do aren't necessarily great, so I'm going to replace it with something that would help me better. So this is a sign to look into your habits and maybe how you can shift a couple things to benefit yourself. Aries. Spirit team, Aries. That's the card you got. So a way to find your inner balance this week is to connect with your spirit guides, your ancestors. That's always what I get when I get this card. So maybe you need to do a little bit of centering yourself and allowing your guides, ancestors, to maybe communicate with you. So if you want to go like walk out in nature, or if you do have like an ancestor altar, or you're someone who connects with your ancestors and spirit guides in a certain way, this is an absolute call that maybe they're going to help you find some clarity, find some of that inner balance. Whenever I'm feeling really out of balance, that's like the first thing I do besides going outside into nature. I go to the place where I communicate with my ancestors and spirit guides, and I just like let it all out. I just let them know like what's going on and how I'm feeling, and just releasing yourself of those burdens can really make you feel so much lighter. I just want to remind you, and I don't know if this is for someone specific, but the more we keep our feelings inside, the more stuck and stagnant that you're going to be. You can't flow through your everyday life if you're like keeping these really heavy things hidden within you. So maybe there's some things you have to let out, and what a better place like to do it, honestly, than with your ancestors and spirit guides, because they're never going to let you down, and maybe you just need to vent, you know? So get outside, do that, and I really send you a lot of peace and healing this week, Aries. Okay, Taurus, meditate. that is going to help you stay balanced this week, Taurus. So maybe there's some things going on that you need to sort of like center yourself. I always say this when I talk about meditation. For people who've experienced very difficult situations in life or have trauma that they haven't fully recovered from, I really don't suggest silent meditation. Sometimes it can actually have the opposite effect, and instead of clearing our mind, it allows like intrusive thoughts and things that we don't want to think of to take over. So if that is you, maybe try doing some like sitting with yourself with like sound bowls or like Koshi chimes, I think they're called. Like there's so many great resources on YouTube and Spotify that have like calming music. Also, like any sort of instrumental music would also be a great thing. I honestly struggle with this myself. So oftentimes when I meditate, I'm not sitting in silence. I do have some sort of instrumental music playing or chimes, and that really helps me to clear my mind without those intrusive thoughts and things like that flooding in. And also too, whenever I get this meditate card, it's also a sign to just slow down. So don't let yourself, like I said earlier, get wrapped up in this forward momentum, like we're like rolling downhill and then you're like a little bit overwhelmed. So take a step back, slow down, find some quiet time to center yourself this week. And maybe just like, 5 minutes here and there every other day to be like, hey, how am I doing? Am I doing good? Am I stressed? Have I drank enough water? Do I need to sleep more? What's going on with me, right? So make sure to tend to yourself this week, Taurus. Well, every week, really, but especially this week. Okay, Gemini, raise your vibration, Gemini. I love that. So what are the things that make you feel good? Is that exercising? Is that like I just talked about with Taurus? Is that like meditating with some music? Or is that journaling? Is that getting out in nature? Is it doing a really exciting activity that like gets your adrenaline going? Raise your vibration. So it's like, what makes you happy? What reminds you that you're grateful to be living this life? Do you need to do some sort of crystal healing or go somewhere that like makes you really feel at home? Maybe you need to call up a friend and do something fun, shake up the energy, but raise your vibration. And a really great way to do that too is to be around other people that make you feel those good, happy, positive feelings. So whatever it is, Gemini, you know you better than anybody else. So how are you going to raise your vibe this week? Cancer. Ooh, Cancer. Healer is what you got this week as far as how you're going to balance yourself. So this could mean that maybe you need to visit some sort of healer. Maybe you need to like make an appointment to get some Reiki done, or take some sort of like yoga class, or like, pop something up on YouTube. I don't know. But this also could mean, and this is really the stronger message I'm getting now, is about being a healer for somebody else. Maybe you need to help someone this week. There's someone out there that maybe needs a little bit of your guidance, a little bit of your emotional support. Maybe you need to be an ear for someone, to sort of like someone that someone can lean on this week. And maybe by spreading your kindness and your love with your own healing gifts, that's going to bring you back to center, make you, remind you like, yeah, that's right. I do have good to offer this world. There is a unique gift that I have that I can share with people that's really going to make an impact. So for those of you out there too that work in service professions, this could just really be highlighting that it's going to be an amazing, really rewarding week for you. So that's exciting. Leo, get creative, Leo. I love that. So finding your balance this week could look like doing a fun art project, making a playlist for yourself. What makes you feel creative? Are you someone who likes to write? Do you write poetry? Do you want to, do you like move your body? Do you make up dances? There's so many ways to get creative. What gets your creative juices flowing? I get the sense that something has to do with moving your body. So maybe you need to physically move your body to get those creative juices flowing. And then what's that outlet going to be? Like I said, is it going to be art? Is it going to be music? Is it going to be getting out there and doing something creative with a friend? So yeah, that is how you're going to find a balance this week. That's fun. Maybe I need to get creative too. Okay, Virgo. Express yourself, Virgo. That is how you are going to find balance this week. And this can mean several things. So the card has this like adorable character with an easel and paint, and they're painting. So this express yourself could be similar to Leo, where you're like, okay, I need to get my creative juices flowing. I need to write something, record something. Maybe you're like, make music or something, right? I don't know. Same thing for Leo too. Maybe in your like getting creative, maybe you're someone who makes music. That just came to me now. The picture literally has a bird like with a music note coming out of it. So anyway, sorry about that. Virgo, so maybe you're going to write something, make some sort of music, do some sort of art project. What makes you feel like you express yourself, right? Maybe you need to like write a journal entry or like share some sort of revelation you've had with people. I don't know what this is. Because while I'm seeing this artistic imagery on the card for express yourself, I also get this feeling that it could be like verbally expressing yourself too. Maybe there's some sort of message that you want to spread, or there's someone you need to express yourself to. So all those things should be considered. But you know what? Expressing yourself is beautiful. Don't be afraid to be unique. We all came here to be unique, not to be the same as everybody else. So shine your light and really tap into what makes you, you. Okay, Libra, your crown chakra is working with your crown chakra, healing your crown chakra is going to make you feel balanced. So maybe you've been going through like a mentally taxing period right now. Maybe you're coming out of a place where you didn't feel like you had complete clarity about something. Crown chakra is also what connects you to like your guides and downloading like information that's going to help you. It's also honestly where you really do find so much of that peace that allows you to feel centered. So crown chakra, there are tons and tons of resources on YouTube and Spotify for like crown chakra healing. And, you can find people who are going to do sound bowl meditations. So you can get some like sound healing for your crown chakra. This is like, if you're not familiar with this, if you are, then you already know what to do. And also for if you're like new into crystals or something and you don't already know, you can Google crystals that help you with your crown chakra, right? And then that's going to be another great resource for you to experience some crystal healing. Those are like my go-tos. I really love sound healing. I'm definitely a crystal woman, okay? I love them. I'm sitting surrounded by like at least 20 of them right now. Those are my go-tos. And then also another good resource is to look up themes of the crown chakra, because often there's like specific themes of things that you could explore and ask yourself. So there might be certain questions that you find yourself being able to explore by being like, what does the crown chakra represent? What are the themes? When your crown chakra is out of alignment, what could that be a symptom of? So yeah, center yourself this week, really find balance. And a lot of that's going to have to do with slowing down as well, like physically. So make sure you're pacing yourself this week, Libra. Wishing you clarity and peace. Scorpio, money moves, Scorpio. I like that. Okay, so maybe finding your balance right now is like you figuring out what you got going on in your career. Are you picking up an extra shift this week to be able to treat yourself to something? Are you pivoting in your career? Are you coming up with like a whole new side project that you're going to work on? There are so many possibilities here, but maybe you're going to have some sort of like revelation when it comes to like what you feel passionate about, what you want to move forward with, career-wise. I love that. That's a really good one. And if you have been feeling out of balance with your career, this could be a sign for you to actually reevaluate. Like, okay, wait. Yes, I need this job to make money and support myself, but in the future, what opportunity could I plan to move towards, right? That like really is in alignment with your passions and your heart and makes you feel happy to get up every day. So maybe this is a sign that you need to reevaluate as well. Sagittarius, you need to focus to find balance this week. So has there been something that on your mind that maybe you're avoiding? Have you been keeping yourself busy so you're not thinking about a certain thing? Because this is a call to just let yourself feel it, let yourself feel the feelings so you can release them. Like I said, if you're storing pushed down feelings within you, that is going to make you stuck and stagnant, and you just don't need to carry around any of that heavy, dense energy. We already have so much going on in the world and in our personal lives. Don't hold on to anything you don't need to hold on to. This also could mean too, because I got like a double message here, focusing could also be like, what have you not been paying enough attention to, as far as like, are your priorities in order? Do you have things set straight in your life right now? What do you need to focus more on? Is it your family? Is it your job? Have you been too focused, right? Like, this whole theme is balancing. So it's like, maybe you need to balance what it is you're focusing on. Are you making, do you have a balance between your work and home life, your family and your personal time? Maybe you haven't taken any personal time just for you, or you have, but now maybe you feel like other things in your life are sort of being a little bit neglected. So focus on what matters to you. This is about prioritizing what you are paying attention to this week. And also another one for you, slow down. So many of us just need to slow down a little bit so we can like gain clarity on so many of the things that we are going through. All right, Aquarius, manifest it. So what's going to help you be in balance? Manifest it. So it's like focusing on the things that you do want instead of being burdened by the things that are not happening the way you want them to happen and the things that aren't working out right. Make sure you're focusing on the positive. What are you grateful for this week? What are you grateful for as a whole at this stage of your life? And what other beautiful things do you want to call into your life, right? What are you focusing on that is going to bring more love, abundance, happiness, peace, joy into your life? Because this is a signal that the more you're focusing on the positives in your life, it perhaps means that the faster that it's going to come into fruition in this reality. So keep going, keep focusing on what's working, because you have the ability to allow things to work out in your favor. So be open to that this week, right? Be balanced. Focus on the things that are going well. That's a great message. I love that. And last but never least, my lovely Capricorns. Oh no. Okay, I'm a Capricorn sun, so I'm struggling with this card right now. Go with the flow. All right, go with the flow, Capricorn. I had talked earlier about not planning 10 steps ahead and how that's something I struggle with. I guarantee you at least one more Capricorn listening to this also has a problem going with the flow. Why? Because we like to plan ahead. We like to know what's happening 10 steps down. We're like so much about strategy and the end outcome. But I ask you and myself to pause, slow down, go with the flow. You don't know what is around the corner. You don't know what's going to happen next. So you might be making these like decisions based off of just speculation, right? And then you're building this entirely false reality that isn't even going to occur, because the things that you think are going to happen are probably going to happen in a different way anyway. Like I said, you can only control you and how you react to things. You cannot control anything else that happens in your life. So what do you have to do? Go with the flow. See what the universe is offering you this week. See what happens, how things play out. Don't feel like there are these like super predetermined outcomes, because I'm telling you, the universe loves surprises, okay? And I know that with some of the astrology going on right now, with this whole Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius, I've heard, I'm not like, I just love astrology and I'm obsessed with it for my own purposes. I'm not trying to teach it, but what I will say is that what I've personally learned about this whole Venus-Mars conjunction in Aquarius is there could be some surprises coming up in communication and in love, because it's Mars and Venus. So Go with the flow. There could be some shock value happening this week. That's okay. You can respond to things as they happen. You can always pivot. And Capricorn, just like let go. Let go a little bit and see where life takes you, because I promise the universe has beautiful possibilities and opportunities in store for you, but you have to be more flexible if you are going to be open enough to receive them. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here with me. Head to my Instagram if you want to see the imagery for this week's card. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, more lighthearted and passionate week this week after we're coming out of such an intense cycle. I've been getting a lot of messages about this being the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. And so I hope that this next cycle for us is peaceful, is joyous, and is really just going to like bring us into a beautiful space in our lives. So thanks for being with me, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. I will see you next Monday. Bye.